Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you Monday, May the 3rd, the year's 2021. Let's talk trading. Purity. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Purity. A lot of times we talk about keeping things simple. And then there's sometimes we poke fun at traders that put multiple indicators on the trade on their trading charts, and we call it chart porn or charts on drugs. So back to the keeping it simple and purity, I want to go over the methods and just show you how to keep them pure, and you don't really need to add anything to the indicators. So we're in the first day of the month, first day of the week. And you can see here where price is. We are 22 pips below the high, 108 pips above the low, and we're 108 pips above the open. So you can see here, we opened and price just shot up. For the open gap traders, once again, keeping something very pure, you see that the pound open below the open, so right at the open you just go long, and you see it took out that gap, filled it. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs that haven't filled the gap so far. We're still putting in the opening range, and a very nice one for the first day of the month. We've got about 131, 132 pips open range at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how it breaks out. And you can see here's the opening range for the year. We're 206 pips above that range high. 268 pips above the yearly open. And you can see here something I pointed out yesterday. We opened inside the weekly inside bar from 5 weeks ago. We had a long trigger at 51. We're now 58 pips above that level. Still plenty of inside bar trades to be had. We also broke through the daily inside bar from 6 days ago. We're 15 pips above that level. 131 pips once again on the daily range of the pound. And as you can see, all the pound pairs here, all 6 of them above 100 pips on the day. Buy zone trade, once again, keeping it simple. Trigger in the buy zone was good for some pips. And you had a second entry, and you can see here, we took out the pivot. Red rats had a chance to feast, you can see here, but not much cheese to be had for the red rats. Price hasn't fallen down. The range is large enough at 131 pips. Pivot traders, once again on the pivot trading plan, this one pretty much pegged it. It said when price gets near R1, the bias is short, and it went above R1. In fact, it hit R1 on the daily and the weekly and fell off those levels. But we took out the monthly pivot, we took out the weekly, and we took out the daily all in one day. Once again, took out that daily pivot here. So we only had 1 missed pivot so far left in April and 2 in February. On the week, we've had a weekly pivot missed in April and 1 in February. But it looks like those 2 pivots, one of them might get taken out this month. And on the monthly, we haven't had a missed pivot since the year 2014, or we haven't had a pivot that hasn't been taken out since November of 2014. Wick zone traders, once again, very simple. You can see it exited the wick zone at the bottom. But if you stopped and reversed, you were paid off very well. You can see here that first initial break proved to be profitable too. Now, on the imbalance and order block trades, this is something that Walmart and I have been working on, and it's been proven that you can pick up 2 or 3 pips, and that's not much. The thing is, you can do that 10 or more times in just a few hours, and those pips definitely add up. But I want to show you something in another chart here that we've been looking at. So once again, back to purity, keeping things simple. The blue dots are from the mid dot indicator that I've updated. So to show the higher, low, and that should be lower, high. I don't know why I have lower close there. It's a typo, but it's the higher, low, lower, open, higher, low, lower, high bar. So we're using 34 to match the 3 level ZZ. So as you can see here, price started dropping. So you have these lower highs. It put in a 1 ball, which was probably a 3 ball before this 3 ball was put in. And then you can just take the long. Then the 1 ball came in, put in a 3 ball. Once again, taking the long. Put in a 2 ball. Here's the level. You take the short, and that trade's still pending. And the thing about the mid dots is you can see it basically gives you a history as opposed to the indicator that some would say repaints, but what it does is it just updates in real time. But this way you can follow how the higher lows were dropping. And you can see right here, we just put in a new one, this bar. So here's your higher low. The Walmart method, looking here at the 1 minute chart, you can see how it's been cutting through, but if we switch back over to the 1 hour, you can see we opened here, we hit the 10, 11.8 was the high so far, so not much in terms of profit. The thing is, this is not the time to trade the Walmart method. Walmart method was over about, I think the Walmart method should have been over about 3 hours ago. 2 hours, let's see, 2 hours ago would be 9, 3 hours ago, somewhere between 2 and 3 hours ago, done, because most of the profitable trades occur from about the 9 o'clock bar on my charts to about the 15 or 17 bar here. So we've added in the imbalance here because what we're looking at is we're looking at the lower highs and higher lows for entries, but we're looking at the imbalance to show us where possible exits are and possible don't enter. What we like to call the space between the imbalances, we like to call that the white space. We like to trade from imbalance to imbalance when possible. And on what I did was on the TRO HL5 indicator, you can see here in brackets, lower high for 34 bars. That shows you what your input is because you want to have these two numbers matching. So I switched the default here to 34. It was 24, but trying to get it to match up with this 3 ball best we can. And one other feature I added, and this will probably be coming out in batch 5 of the TRO 2021 donationals. I added an option, show reverse. And what that'll do is it'll show you the reverse. So here on H1, you can see we are 1 pip above the highest low. So we've got the highest low right here. It's 1 pip above. But normally we want to look for a close minus highest low to be green, because that indicates we have a trade possible. So what the red numbers show you is that there is how far away price is from this line right here. So you can see it's 3 pips above that line. If you go to the H1, you can see it's 1 pip above the highest low. So those show you here, when these are green, it shows you there's a trade possibility. When they're red, it shows you there's not. And so once again, that's why I call it reverse, because that way you can see how far price has moved. But if you set it back to 0, so you can see here, the only possible entries you have are on W1 and the monthly, the weekly and the monthly, for a short here. And you have no possible entries here. So for me, when I look at it, I just want to know, are there any trades available? I don't care how far it moved if I took the trade, because I'll be looking somewhere else. I'll be looking at my trade report. I can see how far above or below price is. So once again, price moved above that lowest open. That turned green. It had a 1 there for a second, right there. So that means there's a trade possible. I should start looking to go short. And once again, you can see it. With these trade dots. So there was a possible short here. Real quickie, maybe a pip. You can see prices going the other way. Once again, this is not the time of day to take this trade. Because pretty much the boys from London have gone home and the boys in New York are out to lunch. I'm trying to think of, was there any questions out there on the internet? Somebody wanted to know if I could add engulfing candles to the dashboard. But I do believe it already has the outside bar function, and it also has the candle, or either the bar pattern, and one of those is outside bar. So unless you mean engulfing something different than an outside bar, you're gonna have to let me know, because I always thought they were one and the same. And on the frequency distribution, I'm working on a TRO 2021 donational version. Actually, the one modification that I'm making to it is giving you the ability to say absolute value. So for example, if you're looking at close minus open, you might want to know the absolute value of that, because sometimes it could be a negative number. So fellow traders, just remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.